Hi everyone, Emilacon here. Um, I'm being silly, but actually today I wanted to discuss something a bit more serious. Um, I'm obviously talking, as per the title, as the situation that happened with Charlie Kirk. For who is not in the loop, or and it will be, if you're probably not American, it has to do with the fact that uh, Charlie Kirk, which was this controversial provocateur, but also debater that will go into universities and basically try to debate, argue his points against the points of the students. And well, I've seen some of his takes, I will be real, I will put something a bit more soothing. Let me see. I will use the old reliable. I will put in the background the Oblivion music, simply because it's so good. There we go, that works. So, and I will also give you guys something better to look at. Let me see. There we go, 1 and 2. Perfect. So, for who is not in the loop, it is this provocateur. As I was saying, I've seen some of his takes. Some I can kind of agree. For example, I can understand his take about the Second Amendment, which was basically that. And by the way, I've seen people discuss it, and it depends on how you take it. For example, from my point of view, guns are not a necessity, but that doesn't mean that I am against the Second Amendment. I'm simply completely neutral about it. You want to have it, have them. You don't want to have them, don't have them. It's simple as. His argument basically on the matter was that it is unfortunate that there is some deaths created by the fact that the Second Amendment is there, but basically the good outweighs the bad, basically. And he was comparing it to the fact, for example, that each year there is probably a vastly higher number of deaths involving the use of cars, be it someone that is drunk and goes out and goes off-road and the car flips and they die, or someone that straight up crashes into somebody else. Again, his argument was that we don't take away cars, so there is no reason to take away also the guns, because at the end of the day, people are shitheads, and that is unfortunate, but that is a thing. In my point of view, honestly, about this, I think that there is still something that is not clear. And again, I didn't listen to his debates, so I just watched a few videos about it. But the thing is, the comparison for me, as an Italian, as an outsider, it doesn't work because, for example, a car is not designed to specifically kill people. It can kill people, but it is not designed to. A gun, it's a weapon, so it is designed to kill people. Of course, if the person is capable, they can, for example, hit someone in the legs or disarm them. But again, we are talking about basically either someone that has a lot of time to take aim, or someone that is an expert with a gun. And I've seen videos about it because, of course, I am a man, I'm curious about guns. And the thing is, if you're a cop, if you're a civilian, and let's say someone is trying to rush at you, be it someone that is basically he comes at you unharmed, but he wants to kill you. It tells you, I'm gonna kill you, and so on. Or he has a knife, which is even more clear. it's a deadly weapon. Well, from my understanding, all the teachings that people will do when they're getting the permit to carry, they will tell them to hit center of mass. So regardless, they're gonna shoot at the chest, or to be more specific, at the torso. Which to me, again, it's basically like a gun. It's basically a weapon. It can be used for self-defense, but can be used also for offense. Honestly, I think a way better comparison rather than cars would have been knives, or, for example, hammers, or anything else. Because at the end of the day, if someone wants to kill somebody, they can use any weapon. Honestly, you could get a rock. Like the first homicide, it was committed with the first homicide in the Bible. Cain, Cain, when he killed Abel, he used the rock. Like, again, the first homicide, the weapon is something you can find literally anywhere. Again, if you want to murder someone, it does not matter. You can use anything. The mafia used the piano wire to strangle people. It's not like assassinations, murders were not committed even in the Middle Ages. So again, it's not like if you take away the guns, people all of a sudden are gonna be less murderous. That is something more dependent on society, culture, and overall the mental well-being of people. Because at the end of the day, someone that is normal hardly ever would kill someone, be it with a gun, be it with a knife, be it with an orbital laser. Like, most people do not want to kill another person, if not because they don't harbor any resentment, because they don't want the annoyance that comes with it. Because when you kill someone, of course, you're gonna get captured by the police, you're gonna go through process and this and that and the other things. Again, it's like we live in an age where most of the murders that are not related to gang violence, they are more basically motivated by either someone being really fucking drunk, or under the effect of of drugs, or it's basically something that is motivated by passion, like a hit of the moment thing. Like, a person suddenly snaps and takes the first thing they have. Now, in some cases, that thing is a gun, but in other cases, it can be a chair, it can be a crowbar, it can be a baseball bat. Like, at the end of the day, if someone snaps and wants to really, really bash in your head until you're basically mush, your face is mush, they will do that. Like, if they really want to, and if they have the opportunity to do it, they will do it. And if it is someone that is like motivated by passion or drunk or all that jazz, they will do that even if they are in a square full of other people and of witnesses. Like, you see it all the time. People that are either not sober, not mentally balanced, or under drugs. They will just commit a crime, and they don't care if there are cameras, they don't care if there are other people. And again, I think the best example for that, if anybody forgot, is the situation about that poor Ukrainian woman that was stabbed by that guy in the train. Again, and by the way, I checked some videos about also that, about the fact that he had like 14 counts of committing crimes, and I'm just baffled, man. I'm like, in my opinion, I am a very. You get you get two chances, really. Like I was about to say three, but two. Like the first time, if it is something minor, yeah, I'm all for giving you probation, giving you the benefit of the doubt. The second time, maybe I detain you a little bit to make you understand what you're really risking, but then I give you the opportunity to maybe reintegrate into society again, and a little bit of leniency. The third time, though, you go into jail and you'd never come out of it because you had your chances. You're a repeat offender. You repeated the offenses multiple times. You are unfit for society, and I do not care. At that point, you are. If I will put you out, there is a higher chance that you're going to keep committing crimes than you being a honest person, being reformed. And again, at the end of the day, that is the meaning of jails. It's to reform people, but we need to come to terms with the fact that some people just cannot be reformed. There are people that, and it is not a discussion of, oh, he is too far gone. No, it is a discussion of that person, either because of the family, of the culture, of the place, or even the particular historical moment. Because, for example, people that grew up in Gaza in 19 at the beginning of the 20th century, they have the very different upbringing of those that are in Gaza right now. And those that are in Gaza right now, for example, they will have a lot of they will bear a lot of resentment, course. Um, of course, much more towards Israel, while instead those in at the beginning of the 20th century probably will not have as much. Specifically because, yeah, I was just researching to be absolutely sure. The fact that Israel declared its independence in 1948. So I just wanted to be absolutely sure about the year of the independence, even though the situation happened of course before that. But yeah, again, it's like the historical moment, the upbringing, everything that is around a person can influence them, and some people will be influenced to a point where they know one way of living, or they do not seek a different way of living also. And in that case, and again, this is also not only a matter of upbringing when it comes to citizens in a state, but it's also a matter of integration when it comes, for example, to migrants coming to a state. Again, there is an acceptance that needs to be reached, where some people cannot be reformed, some people will not change their ways, not because they can't, but because they just won't. They do not want to change those ways. And some people, in the case of integration, some people simply cannot be integrated. Their ways of thinking, their ways of handling situations, be it someone being acting aggressive against you, or hurling profanities at you, be it someone not giving you the respect that you think you deserve. Like, there is a profound difference between person and person. And by the way, just to be clear, I'm not talking about all migrants. I'm talking about some migrants that come and they create issues and they cannot be integrated. And again, sometimes it's the upbringing and everything that comes with it. Sometimes it's the culture. Sometimes it's the fact that maybe they are not mentally well adjusted. they have mental issues, and that creates more problems, of course, for them to live in society against normal people. And if it creates problems for them when they're living again together with people of their same cultures, it creates even more problems when all of a sudden they find themselves in places where the culture is radically different. The culture, the values, the ideas, and so on and so forth. And that is why, for example, you're seeing in some of those countries, you're seeing actually, what can I say, some kind of small cultural revolutions. I've seen now that I can't remember if it was Iran or some other country. I think it was Iran, but where some women in protest were are starting to go around without the burqa, without on the without the not only the veil on their faces, but also the hood on their heads. And I think that is actually extremely important, because again, if it gets repressed, it will go nowhere. But if it doesn't, maybe in 20, 30, 40 years, women, for example, in those countries will have a lot more rights than those of today. And women that are born in these days of cultural revolution, they will be born with those values and seeing that they can actually fight for more freedom, for more power in society, and so they will be less likely to fall into traditions or basically putting down other women's that want to do something different because their religion or their fathers or their mothers used to do things a certain way. Again, this is just a discussion about that. Now, to go back about what I was originally discussing, and sorry again for my tangents. The thing is, for example, in the case of that woman on the train, it was a knife. So again, it is not. You do not need a gun to commit a crime. The gun may make it easier, but it's not like that. If you use a knife, or if all you have is a knife, you cannot kill the person. Like, you can absolutely catch someone in a moment of vulnerability if it is a person that has that is a high profile, like let's say a celebrity. You can absolutely catch them in a moment where they don't have bodyguards around them. If it is a politician, of course, that is way harder. But for example, in the case of people like Charlie Kirk, or even on the left, it is absolutely way easy to commit a violent crime without using a gun. So I think the idea that people were cheering about the use of the gun, oh, how ironic! It's not ironic. You are absolutely retarded if you think that, and you are also disgusting for trying to use this person's murder as a motivation to push against the Second Amendment, in my opinion. Another thing is that, and again, I want to reiterate, I kind of agree with the general message that Kirk wanted to say. I don't agree, of course. I think I made it clear. I don't agree with the way he said it, but I can agree with the general gist of it. And also I agree with it because I have also another opinion. I come from Italy. In Italy, there is no Second Amendment. You can get a permit to own guns for self-defense purposes and sport or hunting purposes. Of course, in the case of self-defense, you need to basically go and have an audit where you will need to motivate why you think you need a gun for self-defense, but most of the people, for example, don't have gun. Yet, you will find that basically bad guys still have guns. And not only guns, they get access to rifles, to sawed-off shotguns, to machine guns, in some cases even grenades. And I remember like a few years ago, one guy also had like a bazooka, a rocket launcher basically. And I'm just surprised when I see people basically trying to argue against the Second Amendment on the premise, yeah, but bad guys get guns because of the Second Amendment. Because at the end of the day, if someone is really ill-intentioned, and even worse, if someone is a gang member, they will absolutely still get guns the illegal way. Like they're gonna get them. They're gonna get with the number of the gun, like scraped off, the unmarked bullets, that kind of stuff. Like they're gonna go that route. They will not shoot you with a gun they own at home, and they will not shoot you with bullets that can be traced back to them if they are smart. If they're not smart, they can do that. But if it's any gang worth their salt, they know better than that. And at the end of the day, all that you manage to stop is those guys that, for example, can get the guns from their home and then go commit a crime. But in that case, I would put more stringent rules on the controls. For example, psychological evaluations of the people, and if the person, and they need to be not only when they go and ask for a permit, but they also need to do it very often. And if for any reason they do not pass just one of those evaluations, all of their guns need to be confiscated right away. All of them. All of the guns, all of the ammunition, anything that counts as a weapon and that will require a permit needs to be confiscated from that person's house. And another one is also impose stricter rules about preservation of the not preservation, how can I say, storage of the guns, so that basically only the person that owns the guns can access it. So for example, make it so that the gun cannot be stored at home, or that if it is stored at home, it needs to be in a device that should be provided honestly from the government, that can be opened either by scanning the face or the fingerprint of the person. And because at the end of the day, someone can maybe get your fingerprint or a photo, so maybe also add a password on top of that, maybe, or even better, a two-factor authentication. So hide that under the password of the phone, and then they need to access an app, and then they can unlock it. Make it super hard for a person to do that, and no guns under their bed. But again, I want to remind you, if someone wants to commit a crime, they will do that. We've seen that also with terrorist attacks. We've seen people driving cars into crowds. We have seen people creating creating explosives in their houses. So we have seen people simply taking a couple of knives and going on a rampage. At the end of the day, it's not like banning guns is gonna make all of this disappear. Maybe it will make it harder for the complete nut jobs, but again, that is more an issue with their families, and I think that it's extremely likely that if those guys don't have access to guns, they will just get knives and go to ham with those. Either that, or maybe just end their lives. take their own lives. But anyway, again, I am kind of neutral still on the matter. So, and again, I'm kind of neutral on the matter, especially because it doesn't affect me regardless. Again, there is no Second Amendment here in Italy. There is no Walmart, and I cannot go to Walmart and buy a gun without a permit, and I need to motivate that permit, so on and so forth. Or, for example, to take another thing that I am absolutely against Charlie Kirk is his view about abortion, and I honestly find disgusting his motivation there, like saying that if someone did something to his daughter and the daughter was carrying the child of that horrible someone, then he would force his, according to his views, his daughter should be forced to give birth to the child. And in my opinion, no, fuck that. I'm absolutely and adamantly pro-choice. I absolutely want women to have a chance to ask for abortion, but at the same time, I want it that the women, they can unilaterally decide to abort their child. They do not need consent from their partners. They will need consent only if they are in a marriage, like in a civil marriage. But if it is not a civil marriage, they do not need consent. But in the same manner, if they do not consent to, like, if they don't need the consent of the man, then also the man or the woman, depending on the situation, they do not need to consent to the child. They can simply record that they inform the lady that is pregnant that they do not want to take responsibility for the child, and that she can go and abort them, and they should be able to avoid legal consequences, like being forced to pay for the child and all that jazz, if the wife decides still to carry on the pregnancy until the end. Of course, I am just laying down the general idea, because already I can imagine situations where it is not as black and white, it's gray. But in the case, I think the legislators, they should be the lawmakers, they should be the ones to go and basically think about how to prevent abuse, how to manage those gray area situations. But for the black and white, I think that is fair. I don't think it's right, but I think it's fair. But anyway, now presented so that I may agree maybe with something he said, but probably I disagree with a lot of what he said, or especially a lot of how he said it. I want just to say, and I want that to be very clear, Charlie Kirk should not have been killed. I think that is a very non-controversial statement to make. I think everyone should be able to say it and understand the implications of the opposite. I'm saying this because I've seen the videos of the people going on Instagram, TikTok, X, Blue Sky, and cheering for the death of Charlie Kirk. And it is just not only disgusting, but it's extremely short-sighted behavior made only because they are horrible fucking people. Like, I want to be absolutely clear with that. If you think that it was a good thing, if you think that it was a good thing because he is not debating anymore, maybe alright. But if you are happy and cheering that he got killed, Like, if you go back and before seeking the effect, you go and see the act, you cannot condone the act in any way. Or rather, you should not condone it in any way. Because you, of course you can, but you are retarded for doing that. And again, you are short-sighted because I want to present this scenario. And again, this is for the people that think the opposite of me. So imagine this scenario. You find someone, let's say it's Charlie Kirk, he was anti-abortion and he was pro-Second Amendment, and he presented his argumentation in such a way that someone took offense from that, and they felt justified in taking a gun or any other weapon, really, and going there and killing him for those statements and those opinions and those views. Well, let's see the opposite. Let's see there is someone that is pro-abortion and anti-Second Amendment, and they present their argumentation in offensive, condescending ways. They argue against conservatives all the time, talk them down, tell them you're ignorant, you're a fascist, and this and this and that, you're a Nazi. And then someone from the far right sees that person and decides to take a gun, a knife, a baseball bat, and kill them. Is that also justified, or is it justified only when your side does it? Again, I want you to really think about it. You have to think about the actions you support more than the people that committed the action or that were victim of the action. Because if you support an action, then that action has becomes more likely to be repeated. If you, for example, make the killer of Charlie Kirk a hero, you create more copycats. More copycats means more, probably more leftist people, far left radicalized people killing far right or right wing people, really, or anybody that is controversial or confrontational enough to warrant being killed for them. Eventually, the same is gonna happen to you, though. Because remember, the more you do it, the more you become associated with these kinds of action. You stop being the party of love and tolerance, you become the party of lies, you become the party of political violence, you become the party of scare tactics, and you're already the party of cancellation. And because you're the party of cancellation, now on that, you're finding out that the others can do the same to you. And that is why we have all the videos of those people that are basically saying, oh, I lost my job, somebody called my boss and told them, you have been a meanie against Charlie Kirk, this and that, yada yada yada. Like, my god, you guys are so pathetic. And not only you are pathetic, but you're basically giving a blowjob to your haters. Like, for a person that hates you, for cheating on the death of Charlie Kirk, and that called your boss to get you fired, you making a video where you cry about it, you scream about it, you are mad, you are saying your life is ruined, that is the equivalent of you dropping on your knees, opening their zippers and giving them a blowjob for getting you fired. Like, again, think also about this. Like, honestly, the best option would be to let it rest. To let it rest and not mind the situation. Let's say, okay, it's showing properly. Good. So the best option would be to let it rest and do not give them ammunition. Again, if you publish nothing, if they contact your boss and you don't alter your handle, you don't post anything related to the job, people are gonna start being demoralized. They will see no effect of what they're doing to you. But if you go out of your way to make other videos where you scream to the world how heartbroken, how scared for your future, and how upset you are because your words have consequences, the same way you were saying that Charlie Kirk's words should have the consequence of that, well, guess what? You just arrived at the finding out part of the FAFO. FAFO. Like, it's not even funny to me. It just mind-boggling. It leaves me flabbergasted. The way I see these people basically be horrible human beings when before they were going after people for things said like 10 years ago. Like, for example, if I made a post somewhere and I was, let's say, in high school, and I was saying the N-word all the time, for example. I wasn't, but because again, it's Italy, we do not say the N-word, but let's imagine that I was saying the N-word all the time. I was one of those Americans that was like that. And let's say I am a rocket scientist today, or an incredibly talented surgeon. Those people, they will go and they will contact my employer and tell them, hey, your head surgeon, Emulacrum, yeah, that guy, he said the N-word. And here are the posts. And they do not care about the context. They do not care about the historical period. They do not care about the age I had when I said those things. And they do not care that in the course of 10 years, my opinions on something may have changed. Like, for example, let's say I like to joke around from time to time, where I say, if the right-wingers wanted to really, and again, this is related to Italy, if the right-wingers really wanted to stop having migrants come to Italy, they should put those mines in the sea, and then they should gun down each ship that comes. It is the only option for them to stop the migrants come, because if everybody dies, and if it becomes an assured way to basically die at sea, rather than having a little hope of reaching quote-unquote salvation, then nobody will do that, because it would be, again, the news about it being a death trap, it would spread super quick. And again, that, by the way, that as fucked up as that sound, that would work. But it is also a joke, because you cannot do that. You cannot do that because, especially if you are a supporter of human rights, you cannot do that, and especially you cannot condone that. Now, you may feel that someone that is very right-wing may feel that it's justified to do that, but still you cannot act on it. You cannot act on it, and if you act on it, you need to go to jail. You need to go to jail, you need to pay, and everyone that is around you needs to pay. And in the worst case scenario, in the case that you were organizing something to that degree, or you was discussing it towards you, or rather than discussing it, you were supporting it online, you were inciting people to do that kind of stuff, like, I don't know, maybe use private ships, go at sea, put I have no idea. Um, um, I do not know honestly, because it's not like they could put nails on the sea and then the ship, the inflatable ship goes on them and it goes down or whatever. But again, I think only a state could really enforce that kind of stuff. But I don't think any European state has neither the balls nor the will to do that, which I think is for the best, but which leaves us with other problems, yada yada yada, which comes with integration and all that kind of all that jazz. But going back again, in the for the Kirk situation, it is absolutely paramount to that people on the far left, because again, leftists probably they understand what is at stake here. That is why you're seeing a lot of leftists, a lot of celebrities, a lot of singers, political figures. Like I think even Bernie Sanders, like you're seeing them saying you can hate Charlie Kirk. You do not have to like him. You can dislike him. You can even hate him. But you have to admit that you cannot kill someone for their views and their political opinions because you felt justified that that person had to die. Because if you feel like that, then you create a situation where anybody, for any reason, can feel justified to do the same to others. And it doesn't matter. You can then try to argue, but Kirky was the second coming of the funny mustache guy. He was a fascist. He was this and that. The person on the other side is gonna argue again against you, like, but that guy. That guy on the left that I shot, he was the Antichrist. He was this and that. Like, imagine if you get some nutcase like that. Again, it's not a matter of you being happy that Charlie Kirk is not around anymore. It's the matter of you being happy about why he's not around anymore. Again, I seen the tweet about the person that said, I'm sorry for the bullet, I'm sorry for the bullet that touched Charlie Kirk, like that kind of stuff. And again, it's fucking disgusting, man. These people are absolute animals, and they, by the way, I can't remember the account. I think it was some kind of lawyer. I'm sorry if the screen will blur again. I will just check on my Twitter just a moment. And again, I do not want to check it because I don't have filters on. You never know what is gonna show up. I follow some artists. Lawyer HR. Let's see if I can find it. I'm gonna scroll for like another 10 seconds. If I don't see it, I'm gonna just move forward. Let's see. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So basically, all that I wanted to say is that if the this guy that has also a YouTube channel, if I remember, and again, I'm sorry for not remembering your name, Mr. Lawyer, but he said something very, very specific, that if someone that you know is your coworker and they are cheering for Charlie Kirk's death, you can record it and then you need to go to HR. And again, it is not about getting them fired. That is about also having a safe working environment. Because again, think about it this way: if a person that is actively cheering for someone that was killed over their opinions is in your workplace, you will feel unsafe about talking about your opinions, especially if they are if they align even remotely with anything Charlie Kirk was in support of. Let's say, for example, you are pro-life. You will probably feel unsafe talking about you being against abortion, even though probably that person, they will talk about anything that comes to their mind. They will feel safe about around you. They will talk about maybe how Christians are bad, how the white cis straight males are a bane upon humanity, this and that. But you will probably temper what you say. You will probably gloss over some of the stuff he says, even though it is in open, it is openly opposed to what you believe in. You will probably try to just let them speak their minds, because at the end of the day, you just want to do your job and get home and unwind, basically, be it by playing games, be it by banging your wife, be it by drinking wine, whatever. You want to just chill and relax. But again, the fact is that at the end of the day, not talking about these things is what allowed these people also to fester in working environments. This is why we have seen so many of them, so many unhinged people appear in a lot of studios in America and Europe. It is because it is of course also a matter of the fact that this was absolutely something pushed from the top. It was something that, rather than down top, so rather than starting down and working towards the top, this was the top management that started to push and enact those things. And it is very clear, especially because they they created within these companies DEI, how was it, DEI? I was about to say sectors, but it's not that. DI departments, sorry. That is the word. So yeah, it's just a matter of being pushed by the tops, because and you probably have seen it a few times in other videos. For example, you get cases where you hear from time to time of these workers saying that they disapprove of pronouns being enforced at work, like you have to have your pronouns by your name. It seems silly to them. They disapprove about DEI, or they mock what these DEI commissions or departments create as events. For example, events where the entire event is celebrating someone for ascriptive features while degrading someone for their ascriptive features. And you see all of this material, and it is clear that even in those working environments, these are views that are not shared a lot, that are unpopular. But because talking against them makes you seem a certain way, for example, let's say, I want to be clear. For example, let's say we're talking about LGBT, but what you hear a lot is just the T. So let's say, for example, your management proposes to have gender neutral bathrooms, and you are a female worker at the company. You do not want to have a man in your bathroom, and you do not want, and let's say you're a TERF, so you do not even want trans people, male to female, to be in your bathroom. You may talk about it, but a lot of the people will not talk about it because it makes them seem transphobic, or even if they are transphobic, it makes them look super bad in the eyes of the company. So they fear legal repercussions, getting fired, and all that kind of jazz. In the same manner, think about it then in another way. All these people are openly stating that they are happy Charlie Kirk got killed, while using accounts that are linked to their companies, be it in their bio, be it on their handles, even sometimes like in their username. Someone that will try to say the same against a trans person, they probably would not do that. They will not do that, or they will do that while expecting pushback, expecting attempts of cancellation, and we have seen them with a lot of people. We've seen them, for example, I talked in a video about it, about Kirsche Verstal, the VTuber, where people basically got her partnership with crime boss Rocky City broken. Like, can I say? Basically, they got that partnership to split apart because they painted her as a Nazi, transphobic, and this, and that, yada yada yada. Like, they have those 5-6 very horrible labels, and then they push those on people. So all of a sudden, it's not that you are a person that has some political views that are opposed to them, and maybe in some others where you may agree, you may find common ground. No. All of a sudden, you are a Nazi. All of a sudden, you are transphobic. All of a sudden, you are this, and that, and you are a horrible fucking human being. And in some of their eyes, violence against you is justified. And it can be anything from cancellation attempts, harassment, doxing, or if you are, let's say, at a protest and you are there with your sign that states those views that they find so abhorrent, well, they are justified in physically getting physical with you. They are justified in trying to steal your sign, to break it. And sometimes they will feel even justified in physically assaulting you directly. Or in the case of Charlie Kirk, they felt so justified, and he was so dehumanized in some of those people's eyes that they felt justified in taking a gun and shooting him dead. And the people that talk to you about being being a person about love, being a person about tolerance, peace, coexistence, they are making t-shirts with the face of Charlie Kirk and blood basically going out of his neck. Like, think about it this way: it's disgusting and hypocritical, and it makes them and everything they stand for look super bad. But again, this is my 2 cents on the Charlie Kirk situation. Let's see what Asmongold thinks about it. Again, I saw he put this video about 6 days ago. It is titled "These People Are Evil." And again, I said it that way because it's censored in the title. Let's give it a look, shall we? I will cut off the music and...
Hi guys, it's me again, and today we're going to look at some of the interesting users on, you would never believe it, Blue Sky. That's right.
And we can simply hear Asmongold, even though I think he's more Zack in this kind of thing. Again, he's doing it from his room, but this the style of this video, and I pre-watched it, but I, of course, as usual, I forgot much of the content of the video. So again, I I will jog. My memory will be jogged as we go. Me and you, the viewer, we go both through it. But I wanted to say this is more like a Zach format kind of video. He's doing it from his room, but he may as well have been outside in sitting in his garden.
And I don't know how this keeps happening, but yesterday, after Charlie Kirk was brutally murdered, he was shot in the throat, bled out on stage in front of everybody, including his own family and his children. The number of people in the games industry who decided to go onto social media, particularly Blue Sky. A lot of these people, you have to understand that many of these people have already been run off of Twitter because there's a level of discourse and negativity that they can't really deal with. So the only place that they can really exist is on effectively a reservation like Blue Sky, where their opinions are protected and they're allowed to be vitriolic and nobody's allowed to tell them that they're wrong.
I mean, about this, my opinion is that simply, if your views are so bad that you need to get away from Twitter, which is already a cesspool, but since Musk bought it, at the very least it is more varied in the views you see. Like you see views and takes from all sides. Of course, you're gonna disagree with a lot of what you see, but it is a good, and right now it is a way better way to understand how much your views are agreeable, your takes are agreeable when you post them on Twitter, rather if you go to something like Blue Sky, which is almost an echo chamber. Like again, Blue Sky is you cannot trust it. We cannot trust putting your views on Blue Sky simply because the people that will hate you there, they are nutcases. The people that will like you there, they are still nutcases. You are basically speaking to a minority of minorities. So if your views, for example, is popular on Blue Sky, the moment it gets scrutinized by Twitter or 4chan or Kiwi Farms, depending on who you are, whatever, that is the moment where you really find out if you said something profound or something profoundly retarded. Again, and you have to keep in mind, Twitter, since we're still talking about online, and usually the people interacting on Twitter the most are the people that are more chronically online. Those are not normies. And normies tend to be way harsher when they judge things, because again, think about it. You will not find the old man that drives a truck through the country day in, day out, and there's his wife in Texas waiting for him, making roasting meat and making burgers with his friends at the end of the week. Like, those people hardly are on Twitter, and definitely are not on Blue Sky. When those people find your tweet, and your tweet is about, yeah, we are happy, this guy got killed, he got shot in the neck, he was the Hitler, he was a Nazi, yada yada yada, well, they will just think, who the fuck is this crazy person? Why the hell are they not in jail? Are they not in jail? And then they will probably add something like my hope and prayers or something like that. I would guess. But again, this is just to say, Twitter is already a minority of open-minded people at the end of the day, even though a lot of them will tell you to fuck right off. Blue Sky, it's even more of a minority, and the people there are probably way more toxic than those on Twitter. Like, if you are on Blue Sky, I think that you have a higher chance that if you say something that is profound, that is very disagreeable from people from the far left, and again, I say far left because the far right is not on Blue Sky. I would expect them to be on that also weird, stupid Twitter clone that Trump made. I think it was truth.org or something to that degree. Which again, I want to make it clear, I see that also as badly as Blue Sky. That is also an echo chamber for the right. But again, on Blue Sky, if you say something disagreeable, I think you have a way higher chance to get harassed for it, receive death threats in your DMs, or doxed than on Twitter, probably. On Twitter, and again, I say chance, but I'm talking about percentages. Like, I think on Twitter, if you take all the people that talk on Twitter, discuss on Twitter, all that kind of stuff, I think the people that would actually send death threats to someone, harass them, try to dox them, I think they're an extreme minority. On Blue Sky, I think that percentage will be way higher. And you can, of course, think I'm wrong, but I am almost sure I am right, to the point I would, I don't know, I would bet probably a body part of mine, like a leg or an arm. Like, I would not bet a finger or a hand, I will bet the entire arm. You can take it in its entirety if I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. Especially, specifically because of how Blue Sky is, at the very least right now. If it will be better in 10 years, I cannot say, but I can only judge it on how I see and I perceive it as of right now. And I want to tell you, I am probably not as chronically online are some of the people that discuss this stuff, like be it Asmongold, be it Rev, be it Hirohei. So I am very close to being an normie, and from my point of view, still Blue Sky is perceived as a platform for the unhinged, for the lunatics that are on the far left, and it is an echo chamber. Like, that is how everyone sees Blue Sky. And that is why also when you are on Twitter, if I see that someone, be it an artist or someone that is commenting, they have a Blue Sky account, I will be immediately more guarded against them, because it's very telling. Like, for me, it is a blaring, a red flag that is so red that the color itself is blaring in my eyes.
That's why we're making this video. We're going to be looking at some of the different people that, after the death of Charlie Kirk, decided to, and I'm not really going to be going through, everybody is going to draw the line at a different place. Here's where I draw the line. I personally have a big problem with people that are celebrating him being killed. I don't have a big deal if somebody says I don't like him or I never liked him or something like that. But for the people that are celebrating for him being killed, advocating for future violence, and saying that it's a good thing, I think that's what crosses the line for me. And I think that's what crosses the line for any reasonable, normal person. And so anyway,
completely agree.
We're going to go through a number of people. And the first thing I wanted to start out with today is that maybe you guys remember this from the beginning of the year. It was a big content year, I would say that. And people might have forgotten, but there is a person who decided to advocate for killing your local MAGA. This was a Blizzard employee. And I want to say that after the video that I made on him and a lot of other people made on him, this person lost their job and effectively has ruined their life. And
I want to say, I don't like cancel culture, but this is absolutely justified. As I said, if you are working with someone that openly says you should kill people of my political opposition, that is almost the same as someone working with someone saying let's kill all gay people, for example. Again, I didn't want to say the color of the skin, because that is something you cannot hide. That is super clear to see. But for example, let's say I am a gay person and I am working in an environment. I did not make it clear that I'm gay. Then I hear my coworkers openly stating gay people are freaks, they are a crime against nature, yada yada yada, all that kind of jazz. And then they say they should be killed. Like, I'm sorry, but that is not a safe working environment for me. It is absolutely beyond the comments being disgusting themselves. It is absolute. It makes the working environment absolutely unsafe. It would make me fear to reveal that I am gay, or if someone found out that I'm gay, because maybe, I don't know, maybe let's say I'm walking down a street with my boyfriend, or they catch us in a moment where we think are alone and we are kissing each other. Okay, let's say that happens. Then and let's say that I found out that now anybody in the office knows, including those people that were saying weeks before, gay people need to die, like kill gay people. I hope someone kills all of them. Like, if I heard someone say that and then they find out that I'm gay, I would absolutely be scared. And even if I wasn't scared, at the very least, I would not be able to relax when those people are in the room. I will basically work while keeping an eye over my shoulder, like watching behind my back, because again, it creates the idea that these people are so unhinged that they would justify if someone, and it doesn't have to be them, but they will justify if somebody else decided, yeah, I know this person is gay and I want to kill them, I will kill them. Like, it creates to me the idea that these people will not defend me, these people will not speak for me, these people will probably sell me out, and sell me out to like this shooter, this hateful homophobic shooter that I'm imagining right now. Like, again, it is absolutely something that is worthy of documenting, going to HR, and then getting the person or the people removed from their position. They create a horrible situation, and all they needed to not create it is simply to have more common sense, to be more mentally stable, to understand that you cannot shoot a person for their sexuality, and that you cannot shoot a person or kill a person rather for their political views. Like, you cannot do that. It's that simple. And I want to make it clear that advocating for it or even cheering for it, it makes not only them, but everything they stand for, it makes all of that look bad. Like, for example, let's say they're saying that because they're Nazi skin. Of course, we all know that Nazis are bad, but let's say, for example, that they were saying that because they were like super Catholic, Bible thumping Catholics. Well, that makes their Catholic Church look bad. If they were Muslims, it will make the Muslim community look bad, and all that kind of stuff. And even worse, if they were to go ahead and actually commit a hate crime, and it comes to light that the hate crime was committed because of their religion or their political views, well, all of a sudden, the society is when presented with the facts, they would see, oh, look, this religion, it brought these people to act this way. Now again, those will be extremists, outliers, but again, make it happen enough times, it will all of a sudden start to it will all of a sudden bring the image of that religion associated with those extremists' actions. And again, be it the political affiliation, it will bring the political affiliation associated with those actions. And I saw a comment on Twitter while scrolling, and basically he was saying sometimes it was the same. It was one. How can I say? It was one wing that tried to shoot Trump multiple times. It was one wing that went into a church. I think it was a church. I'm not sure, and shot the people. It was one wing, then the one of the person that shot Charlie Kirk. Again, though, I think it's way more generalizing. Like the Trump shoot, the people that tried to kill Trump, the people that killed Charlie Kirk, of course, they did it for political motivations. But the people that shot the church, I don't know if it was just the political motivations or something also to do with the trans, them being trans, because if I remember correctly, it was a trans that did it. They did that, or it was something to do with the religion itself. I think it was a Christian church, the one they shot, and all that kind of stuff. But again, do it enough time and people start to use another terminology that I started to see Asmongold use. They start to notice patterns. They start to notice patterns, and they see the left wings try to shoot Trump. The left wings the left wing trans person went into a church and started a mass shooting, or it was a school. Like I can't remember. The left wing, a left wing person went into an event where there was a political debate and shot the right wing debater. Again, they're gonna see this and they're gonna be like, for all them constantly being called Nazis, fascist, violent, they want those people to die, all of that stuff. The right wings surely are not doing much killing. And then they will look at the left, and then they will like, for those that call themselves the party of tolerance, for those that say a lot of their members are the oppressed, the victims of the system, of the racial oppression, of political harassment, all that kind of stuff. These people seem very comfortable around right-wingers, and they seem the ones to do a lot, to enact more violence. Like again, it becomes less of a just stopping at what the party says, and more of a let's actually see what the party is doing, what the people affiliated with the party are doing. And in the case of the Democrats in America, I will say their image right now is very bad, and it's very bad to the point that here in Italy also a lot of people are noticing. And of course, personalities like Asmongold, like Rev, Hirohei, they make that just more apparent. But again, it does not matter. Even if the media tries to portray Charlie Kirk as a horrible fucking person, it does not matter, because at the end of the day, the core of the situation is very simple. It does not matter what he was saying. He should not have been killed for it. If he said something that was so offensive, so potentially harmful to certain groups, then those people, they should have sued him. They should have brought him to a court. They should have involved a judge, and then there should have been a sentence against Charlie Kirk. Like they should have gone through the legal means, and if he did something illegal, they should have contacted the police. It does not matter if they believe in ACAB, all that kind of stuff. You still contact the police. You're still not allowed to make justice by yourself. So you go contact the police and you get him prosecuted for whatever illegal stuff he did. But again, you cannot take your gun and shoot him when he's not about to kill you. Because again, if Charlie Kirk had a knife and was rushing at a Democrat and someone saw that and shot him to stop him, to save the Democrat's life, then of course you would have there would be no argument there. Like he was about to kill someone, so he was killed first in self-defense or in the defense of the victim. So yeah, that is absolutely justified. But him sitting there with a microphone in his hand, no guns, no weapons, no knives, nothing, and someone from the crowd takes their gun, aims at him, and starts shooting. There is no way you can justify that. And if you do, you are a horrible piece of shit. It does not matter if you're far left, if you're leftist, if you're centrist, if you're right, and if you're far right. It does not matter if you are apolitical or whatever. You are a piece of shit for doing that, and you help promote an environment where more of those situations might happen. And even though you probably will not be involved with them, with those happenings, blood will still be on your hands. Again, blood will be on your hands for cheering that people get the chance to murder people they politically disagree with. It does not matter how controversial the person is. Again, Charlie Kirk could have been there. He could have said, "Hey, I'm a neo-Nazi. I want the second coming of the funny mustache man. I want another Holocaust. I have plans to make it better, to make it bigger. I imagined it, envisioned it." Like, he could have said all of that vile shit. Or he could have said something to the degree of, I want to, and again, like I love Satan. I want to sacrifice one baby per day to Satan, so that the Antichrist gets born from the collective disgust that comes with committing those actions, from the collective disgust, hatred, and resentment. Yada yada yada. They will coalesce. All the Jeds. Well, even then, you cannot shoot the guy. Like, you cannot shoot him. You can. I don't know. If you think he really is gonna do something, you can contact the police, have them watch him, and if he does something, tries to do something illegal, they can arrest him and prosecute him. But again, if he just talking, and if the way he talks is not violating anything, like he doesn't commit, he's not inciting violence. I mean, the examples that I did kinda incite violence, but again, you get the idea. Like, it doesn't matter how outrageous he was, as long as he's not violating a law, he should be free to say whatever. Like, as long as it's legal to say, as long as it is within the confines of free speech and it's not crossing over into some legal matters where you cannot say, for example, to make a clear example, free speech. You have free speech. You cannot go in a theater and shout, "There is a bomb, there is a fire, escape right now." Like, you cannot do that because there is a chance people are gonna rush to the exits, and in doing so they're gonna walk over each other, they're gonna push each other, and someone could be hurt, they could die because of it. And you will be not only you will be liable for using your free speech to basically cause hysteria, but you would be also accused of murder, because it will be directly related to you. even though maybe someone may have walked over or pushed someone, again, you are the one that created the situation for it. I think, I don't know which degree of murder it is, but I think you will be also prosecuted for that. I think the prosecutor will also try to get you sentenced for murder. But again, this is just to give you a general idea. You can get away with pretty heinous stuff, but there are things that you should not say. But unless you go and say stuff that you shouldn't, you are completely fine to say something. And to add also another layer to this, the context matters. Like, let's say for example, I shout, there is a bomb in a room, and it's 5 people, and it's me and my friends, and we do that, and the friend that I said that is a friend that comes from Middle East. So again, imagine it as a kind of a racial joke that is fucked up, yeah, but let's say we all have black humor and we all can laugh at that. It is completely different than instead going in the middle of the street, you see a man from, let's say, Pakistan, and you shout from the top of your lungs, he's a terrorist. Like, it is completely different, and of course you will probably get sued for that. And again, rightfully so, because you will be kind of a piece of shit for making a person uncomfortable for that, and also causing other people to possibly, you do not know how they could react to that information. Like, if someone takes out a gun because they really think they are in the middle of a terrorist attack, or there is about to be a terrorist attack, and shoots the Pakistani guy, both of you are going to jail. I want to be very clear.
I want nothing more than for the exact same thing to happen to the people in this video too. So I hope that after you guys see these individuals and you see what they're advocating for, you'll be able to go out and tell their employer, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm not comfortable funding a video game that is employing people that are advocating for the brutal murder of a person in front of their family. And it's absolutely insane, but...
Oh yeah, and by the way, this is the other matter. Like, I talked about it from a co-worker point of view, but from a customer point of view, absolutely. These will turn off these kinds of comments. They will turn off people, and in so doing, they will have a noticeable, like, not noticeable in the way like the projection said we were going to sell 100,000 copies. We sold only 70,000. But in the matter of, the higher ups of the company can go online and they can find posts of people saying, I'm not going to buy this shit game because this developer said this horrible fucking thing. And again, there is a gray area in the way that sometimes the company can just decide to ignore that, like, at the end of the day. Like, imagine for example that you said something like, I am pro Second Amendment, everyone and their mothers should have a gun, and they should keep it under their beds, so everyone that tries to rob a house should be scared, should think twice before doing it. Like, if you said something to that degree, and someone takes offense from it, and they contact your boss and try to argue, you want to create an unsafe world where everyone has a gun, and you will not buy the game, your boss can absolutely tell the guy, fuck right off, we agree with the person. But if you start shouting like horrible stuff, be it again, kill your local MAGA, or be it I don't know, something that MAGA would say, let's say, be it gay people are freaks, like something homophobic like that. That is absolutely ground for any normal company that will fire you. If you are advocating for violence against people, be it for their political affiliations, or if you're being homophobic, transphobic, whatever, publicly with your account that is directly linked linked not only to your name but also to your company, then you're basically putting your company on the line. You're putting your company, you're putting the products that you're working on the line. And that is basically, they can create brand damage. And for example, I was working for a big company and I had in my contract specifically that if I were to cause brand damage by going on social media and talking badly about the company, that was already a cause for termination. Like again, it gives them the right to terminate me because I go and I degrade the brand, and I degrade the brand by basically doing that. So again, it's really how to avoid it. Really simple. Use an account that is not related to you, that it doesn't have your name, doesn't have your surname, doesn't have an avatar that you use for other things, that doesn't have your company in the name, in the bio, in the handle. Like, but unfortunately, a lot of these people that, if I remember, that we're gonna see, they cannot help themselves because having the, especially if they work for a big company, like let's say Bungie. Well, having the fact that you work at Bungie in your name gives you more, gives you that little bit of more authority. And since these people, the people doing this rather tend to be narcissists, they love to have the extra attention. They love that when they speak, people will go and think, oh my god, okay, this guy is actually a big fucking deal. Like, they cannot help themselves, and because of that, it bites them in the ass. And I kinda love to see this because, again, it's punishment of arrogance, and it's also punishment, rightful punishment for advocating for violence. Again, think about it this way. The party that wants everyone to have guns, is not advocating for violence with the same toxicity, the same wording, the same dehumanization tactics that you do.
But it's also not surprising. And so anyway, we're going to go through some of these. Obviously, I put out a post about this before. This was yesterday. If you guys want to make a
By the way,
list,
we'll
and this is
probably let him
something
talk
I'll go
about
ahead
the
and just
posts
contextualize
directly.
it all. So there's several game developers that are liking posts that are people mocking Charlie Kirk's assassination. We'll look at pretty much who these people are. We'll start off with this. These are people, Dennis. Let's look at this, and this is also on Blue Sky. I'm 6'5" and fans, Blue Sky Social, sound effects associate at Bungie. So Bungie, you know the game that's trying to make Marathon. I get...
Like again... I see already, like, including these studios on the right, so again I see others, but again, think about it this way. The first red flag is that it is on Blue Sky. The second red flag, pronouns in bio. And then he goes and he has the company associated to his name. Again, it's very clear to me, he should not do that. Or rather, he can do he can have all of the flags he wants. He just should not have this that little SFS sound effects associate producer at Bungie. Again, he wants the extra attention. He wants to be that a little bit more of a deal. He should not do that.
They were too busy.
And also, he should not have his name and a photo of him in the account. Again, I'm very much for people being able to be anonymous, and I am against cancel culture, so I am more for people being able to speak their minds and say things, of course, as long as they do not go off the deep end. Some of the people we have seen and we're gonna see, but at the end of the day, I really don't like people losing their job, even for this Charlie Kirk situation. At the same time, though, they are advocating for violence, so again, I see it completely justified. And rather than I see it, it is completely justified that they will lose their job. Like, objectively, it is justified. And if anybody normal thinks about it, they will come to the same conclusion. And if these people themselves really thought about what they are really advocating for, they will be terrified of it. It will be like one of those moments like you are working against your own interests. You do not want to reach the point where both sides can shoot each other's members because they dislike what they are saying or how they are saying it. It is not something you ever want to reach.
He's doing sound effects, not visual effects, so maybe he actually has to do his job rather than just copy pasting something off of Twitter. But anyway, you've got somebody like this who's advocating for, and
I also talked
again,
about that.
People might think that it's not a big deal. Oh, well, these people aren't making these statements themselves. These people aren't really saying anything that is that extreme. Here's the reason why it's a big problem. The reason why is because it creates an ecosystem and an environment where the actual extremism and the actual radical behavior is feeling comfortable. It feels comfortable in an environment where you have this blasé, passive acceptance of it, and you have people that are just basically complicit with it, but they're not openly saying it. They're just privately doing it, or they're just privately voicing their support as well. And
exactly.
Well, I guess in this case, it's not private anymore, is it? And so anyway, we have a associate producer at Bungie who is liking and promoting tweets.
I mean, when you go and you make a post or a video on social media, be it on Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you want, you are automatically making it public. You're making it public, and you can resent the people contacting your boss and showing them that you use your account, which is linked, which can be linked to your company, to your workplace, to say those disgusting things. But at the end of the day, you can resent those people, but because you put it in the public, there is always a chance that your boss directly comes into contact with your stuff. Just because they didn't and someone showed them doesn't mean that you are not the moron for going public with something that is so disgusting. And again, if you have an account linked to your working environment, to your workplace, and you put out something, and with the expectation that your boss is not going to see it, but that can potentially get you fired, then you are absolutely an idiot. Like, you have no idea how much of an idiot you are. And see the person that got you fired by contacting your boss about that point of view that you stated, less about that person, someone that you should resent, and more about someone that gave you a reality check. A reality check that that your take is disgusting, your opinion is unpopular, and that you put that out in the open for anyone to see and anyone to find with an account that one can reconduce to your boss.
That are celebrating the death of a person being shot in the neck in front of their family and bleeding out profusely on the stage in front of millions of people. And so good job, Bungie. Really good winners you've got here. I can't wait to play Marathon. I thought that my expectations for the game couldn't be lower, but somehow Dennis has managed to fulfill, or exceed those expectations, you could say.
I mean, at this point, I will be surprised if Marathon comes out at all. Again, they had scandals upon scandals. I saw that they were paying $500 for people to play the alpha test of the game. Like, there is no interest in the game. There is issues with the art style. There is divisiveness about the fact that it's called Marathon at all, when the original Marathon exists and is completely different aesthetic, completely different game. Again, it doesn't matter that they made a full trailer, like a very cool trailer that seems profound with the Ozymandias quotes. Like that doesn't matter for shit. That is not the gameplay. That is not the day-to-day experience of the player. The player is not experiencing anything profound. I've seen the gameplay, and it is just an extraction shooter that barely works because they fucked it up. And everyone lost interest in the game. Everyone went to the other one, the one with the NASA punk aesthetic that I cannot remember right now, that has actual human beings also in the game. I can't remember, sorry. But yeah, everyone went to that third-person extraction shooter that from what I've seen, everyone said they loved it. It is more fun, runs better, the graphics looks good, the sound design is amazing from what I have seen also myself, and the gameplay feels snappy and good. And also, by the way, they have voice chat, like a distance-based voice chat, unlike Marathon, because those developers are not as much of a pussy, are not as much of a bunch of pussies like those at Bungie. Because my god, why the fuck would you take that off an extraction shooter? You're taking away from the players a huge component that allows them not only player expression and coordination, but also emergent player gameplay. Because again, proximity voice chat, yeah, that is the name. Because again, if you have proximity voice chat, you can also talk with the people that are shooting at you. It creates really intense clips, but it also can create unusual situations. Like imagine I'm shooting at someone and like we're shooting at someone, three of us, and normally if we don't have voice chat, we just shoot at each other, we kill the guy, he's one person, we're three of us, we just kill him, and that's it. But if there is proximity voice chat, and let's say the guy says, hey, I surrender, please, I will give you everything that is in my pockets, just let me keep my weapons, and we deliberate about it, and we say, alright, come to us, but at the moment you start shooting, we will drop you. And then he gives us his stuff, we take it, he goes his own way, but still being able to keep doing the mission to maybe get more loot and escape, and we go our own way with his loot, but he still has his guns, so he can still survive. Like, imagine that. You cannot have that in Marathon. And you cannot have that, and even if you had that, it will be still hampered by the fact that there is basically superpowers a la Apex Legends. Like, again, it sounds like everyone is trying to be the next big game about being a battle royale or being an extraction shooter, and all of those are floundering because the market is already a bit I think already saturated enough that people have like those 3-4 games that they consider to be the ones that they go to play. But also the fact that when they try to come up with aesthetics that are simply not cool, they're not cool enough to warrant people, to wow people, and they're not cool enough that people love to play them or feel cool while playing them. Again, this is something that we had the opposite of in the 2000s, where there were a crap ton of MMOs like Lineage 2, Silk Road, or games like Guns Online, like S4 League, all that kind of stuff. And again, all those games had cool aesthetics, but they were mechanically clunky, except Guns. Guns was and still is absolutely fucking amazing mechanically. But they were hampered by them not having too much content, with the exception in this case of map of Silk Road, which had basically another expansion where they at first you could only be an Asian, you could only play within the Asian part of the Silk Road, and then they made, I think, Russia the other part of the Silk Road where you would come out basically to the European side, and so it had new classes, new weapons, new armors, and so on and so forth. Again, it was really cool for the time, but today it could not work because mechanically and in terms of time consuming grind, nobody would play that, or rather only, I think, maybe turbo focused people that really love that kind of grindy MMO style gameplay. They would be the only ones playing those games. But yeah, again, it's just like you need to make the right game for the right crowd at the right time, and managing to do that is anything but easy. Yeah, but when your aesthetic is more artsy rather than cool, like when you are going already towards a niche, and then you have also the niche of being an extraction shooter, but then you start polluting that niche with the hero shooter elements that are more normie oriented, and you're doing that because you want to basically make an extraction shooter for everyone. Eventually you run into the big wall that is a game for everyone is a game for no one, and Marathon is exactly that. Marathon and even Concord, they are games that are exactly that. And Marathon, even if it didn't came out yet, it's already clear that it is heading very, very much in that direction. Unless serious changes are done to the game, I think it is better to just abandon the project altogether and cut their own losses. Write those as economical losses, and try to, at the very least, get tax reductions from those to salvage as much as possible. But besides that, I think those are really games for no one, and you can tell because nobody played Concord. Like of course a few people played it, but the numbers simply didn't warrant how huge Concord was supposed to be. And I think the same also is gonna happen with Marathon. I think they're gonna have a launch, but the launch is gonna be either overshadowed by some other huge AAA game coming out, or some viral or incredibly polished new gem of an indie game that takes the world by storm, the same way Balatro did. And those people and the people behind Marathon, they're gonna be just left in dust because they were not playing for the core audience. They were basically throwing everything at a wall and seeing what sticks.
I've got another one also. Kelly, senior producer at Sucker Punch, amateur cosplay armor, D&D enjoyer, source of corgi pics, they and she. Okay.
Like again, Blue Sky, pronouns in bio, company in bio. Like you do not need to announce to the world what you are doing as a job. Just say producer, or what you cannot say, you cannot know. Just say developer, or what you cannot say. Like, it's super easy to just guard your career by not being an absolute idiot. Like, it's super easy, but yet here we are.
Hey, So we have also, and you're going to see this word, this term, sucker punch, a number of times. We're not talking about the action, but we are talking about the company. This is the company that makes the game, or that is making the game, Ghosts of Yotai. Ghosts of Yotai.
Wasn't it Ghost of Yotai?
This is also important to keep in mind, is that the voice actress for the game, for the character itself, has gone multiple times on record making the most deranged, stupid comments like defunding the police. She's just your typical like libtard, insaniac, moron, retard, right? It's
yeah, and by the way, defending the police, it's just a stupid thing to say. And it's a stupid thing to say in America, it's a stupid thing to say also in Italy, it's a stupid thing to say in general. You need the police. The reality with all is that you need them because either you have the police and you have them well funded and capable, and of course they need to be for the people. So again, rather than defunding them, it will be more of, if you feel that the police in your area is racially profiling people, is oppressing people, or it's doing more the bidding of the politicians rather than working for the benefit of the community and of the people. In that case, it's less of a defund the police and more of a reform the police. And that is the crux of the argument, is that a lot of these people, they love their big words, they love their zingers, so to say. They like to say that everything is on a spectrum, there is a lot of gray areas, so on and so forth, but their political opponents are absolutely evil with nothing in between. Anybody that disagrees with them is also evil with no in between, with no tolerance, and so on and so forth. Like, it's just like weird to me that they cannot see the world more complex, the world with the same complexity. They demand that the world sees them. Like they like to pretend they are these profound, complex, hard to figure out beings, while they have everything figured out. They know the world, they know the people, they know everything. Like, again, think about how I speak of this way. I'm talking about these people, and I'm talking about a minority within a minority probably on a small on small communities and echo chambers. Like, again, I try to be fair and to not paint the entire left side by the actions or by the unhinged posts of a few retarded individuals. Like, I do my very best to try and keep in mind that I'm talking about a small group of people, and that not everyone is like them. Actually, most people are not like them. I did this when I was talking about trans people. I did this when I was talking about politicians. I do this also now when I'm talking about people cheering for political violence, and in this case defunding the police. Again, it's a matter of they're crazy, not in the way they cannot function in society, but in the way that they function in society, but everyone around them needs to work on eggshells. Everyone around them needs to know their pronouns, because if you misgender them, they go crazy. If you say something that is politically or ideologically too remote from their positions, they can go off and act and start shouting, start talking you down, or behave condescendingly, or just being offensive to you. Like, again, it's all a matter of these are people that barely can be integrated into society. And again, this is not leftists. This is not all of the leftists. This is a very, very small minority of them, but that unfortunately, because most of the people try to stay away from them, because they do not want to have anything to do with them, and because these people think that the world is so against them that they are the rebels, they are the force, they are that, they are also the ones to be more likely to become involved into politics, to become activists for those far values, we end with those extremist views sometimes. And that is why you get a lot of the people talking about politics the way they do, and that is why, unfortunately, this small minority is so vocal that they end up basically becoming the face of the entire left side. And I think this is what a lot of people fail to see, and this is also why there is this kind of division that I am seeing in America. Again, from an outsider's perspective, see, if I saw only the discourse online, I would think that America is basically on the edge of a civil war. Now, as someone that tries to see how the country actually is, I see that it is not. But I think that it is slowly getting there. It is slowly getting there because, again, the more pervasive and rooted in society certain views become, the more these views get pushed by a leadership that is drunk on the idea that this is what is gonna work for the future, this is gonna what get them votes, this is gonna what is gonna give them power in the long run. The more vehement, strong, and resentful is gonna be the response directly opposed to it. Again, it's a bit like I think it was Murphy's Law. Like, let me double check. I will just double check for a moment. Something opposed to it law. No. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. Okay. I was about to say Murphy's Law. So it was like if something can, if anything can go wrong, it will, if I remember. And then this is the law of motion on Newton. That basically every action has an equal opposite reaction. And again, if you but again, equal does not mean equal that like it will act in the same way. Equal means that it will have the equal force, but that force, while for example I've seen these vocal minorities start invading media and other industries in the span of 10 years, the hate towards that minority has been festering for 10 years. When that hate will eventually come up and it will form up into a full-on reaction towards those people, it will probably be explosive. Like, it will be with the same strength that had it basically festering up for 10 years, especially by the people that started calling the vocal minority out the first, which again, it does not mean that those are radical right-wingers. It can be also left-wingers that then, throughout the course of those years, have started basically moving more and more towards the center, and then eventually to the right. And this is also, of course, a reaction to how those people have presented their policies. Because again, remember, there were black people that were saying that black people that voted for Trump, they were race traitors and terms I'm not gonna use here on Twitch. There is people that were calling others traitors and so far and so forth for voting for politicians they didn't like or for supporting views they didn't like. And again, when someone is on your side or is part of your group and you keep treating them like dirt, eventually they're gonna be like, okay, fuck you, and they're gonna go on the other side. And this is what has been happening for 10 years, and this is why these people all of a sudden cannot understand why they are now a minority, even politically. It is because everyone has run out of love and care and love and prayers, whatever, tolerance, all that stuff, and everyone is just like, look, we're not gonna let you abuse our kindness anymore. It does not matter if you portray you as good, we know what you are. And this is what is happening. And again, keep in mind, this is that vocal minority still, against that vocal minority still. It is not the entire left party, because remember, Bernie Sanders is on the left. Bernie Sanders spoke against Charlie Kirk's assassination. It does. Someone being on on right or left, it does not matter. You should never see those as something that locks one into buying an entire set of opinions. You can be a leftist and can be pro-life. You can be right-wing or even far-right and still be pro-choice. Like again, you can always find common ground with each other, and that is what I think eventually, in my vision, if everything goes well, America is gonna be like, they're gonna stop focusing on everything that divides one side from the other and start refocusing on things that link each other to the other. And maybe and they're gonna still argue, by the way. They will definitely still argue, because they're not gonna see eye to eye on everything, but they are, at the very least, will be civil about it, and they will be able maybe to stop turning everything into kind of a reality show, but one that basically has the world balance and the lives of Americans on the line, especially.
Not really that complicated, but what it really indicates is that there's a culture in this company and there's a culture in this environment where this type of radical, violent behavior and language is normalized. You have multiple people at the company that are all saying these things, and we're going to get to the other ones too. This is another person here also that works at the company, and so you can see right here, obviously this is them retweeting or posting something that they did with the game, and then right after that, I hope the shooter's name is Mario so that Luigi knows his bro got his back. And I've been noticed that Twitter has noticed me from I've been told that Twitter has noticed me from across the room. Well, we certainly have. We absolutely have. And I think that these kinds of comments are absolutely disgusting. This is a person that works at a massive game company, and they're openly advocating for on public platforms and promoting and celebrating the murder of a random person. This is disgusting. It's really disgusting. And in my opinion, I don't think that it should be tolerated. And that's the reason why I'm making this video. I think,
again, it cannot be tolerated. And while and again, I want to say, a normal person does not create an account and give themselves that name, like punching Nazis till I die, and put also the handle friendship defeats fascism. Like again, where are these Nazis? Where are these fascists? I see none of them. I will be real. I see none of them. Or rather, if we want to argue that there is some far right wing people that, of course, take it a little bit too far when they speak about certain things. Okay, of course, I can agree, but there is no fascism. You are allowed to talk about your views. The simple fact that you in your country can make an account and have that handle, that banner, and that username, it is automatically proof that you are not in a fascist, totalitarian country. You do not live in a dictatorship. You may live in a dystopia, but it is not yet a dictatorship. So again, it's not like you are gonna. It's not like this is the end of the world for you. Now it is an historical moment. Like I'm just trying to find the best way to express it. It is you find yourself in the historical moment where a party that is directly opposed to yours and there's a lot of the values that you do not agree with is at power. But it comes also after years of your party being in power and doing basically a lot of the stuff that you like to see. Again, you had them with Biden. I'm sure you were really happy when you had, for example, trans people being able to compete in women's sports, and also to the point that also Neil deGrasse Tyson forgot what the fuck a woman is. And all the right wingers were seedy. Like I bet you were so happy then, and now you're so mad. But again, what the right wingers did, I never saw them outwardly say someone should kill, someone should kill Biden, someone should kill Kamala Harris, someone should kill the proponents for this stuff, or maybe, I don't know, was it Dave Mulvaney, the trans person that was making the advert for a beer? I can't remember which one, but again, even then, I do not remember people being like, we need to kill this person. I'm sure if we look hard enough, we can find nutcases. But guess what? Even those nutcases on that side, they should still pay if they make those kinds of comments. We simply cannot condone political violence of all kinds. We cannot do that, because the moment we do that, we cannot discuss anything anymore, because we always have to watch our backs, because someone can be in the room with a gun, and we do not want to get to that point. The moment we justify ourselves physically assaulting people of the political opposition or that stand for things we disagree with, is already the moment where we introduce the threat of violence when someone speaks. Like, it's like me, for example, like we're sitting at a table and I tell you, I am pro-choice, I want my state to not be associated with any religion. I do not want there to be any religion that is officially recognized by the state and is more privileged than the others. I think that, and I do not want people to carry guns. I want harsh laws for people to carry guns. And then I sit in front of you and I show you that I have a gun inside my jacket. And beyond the fact that you could call me a hypocrite for wanting harsh laws against guns, but me being armed you may feel way less inclined to state that you are pro-life, that you want everyone to freely carry a gun, and this and that. Like, again, it's very easy to understand. I'm sorry for explaining it over and over, but some people really do need to get the message. They do need to see what the hell is at stake here and where where we can all be headed if we start allowing this kind of conversation, if we do not curb stomp into the ground these kinds of clowns, for to put it mildly.
I think that everybody should try to message anybody that works at this company, anybody who, like any sort of PR, any management, anything like that. Let them know that you don't want to support a company that employs people that celebrate the murder of innocent people just for exchanging ideas. This is a disgusting thing to do. And you can see also, and I think this is a systemic problem at the company itself, whenever you have three people, the voice actress and then these two other people that are also doing this, I think that it's very obvious that this company has been infected with the same kind of moral rot that many other video game companies have unfortunately been affected by.
Absolutely.
And so you have also Zib, they, them, always a very...
Again, it is very clear that an entire studio, it's affected by a certain mentality if multiple people in the studio feel like they can come out on socials and have that mentality. For example, let's say a Chinese studio that is racist against black people and is racist against black people. Again, in Asian countries, unfortunately, they tend there is a tendency to be a bit more race, not race straight up racist, but again, black people are not seen as well as white people because there is a bigger importance given to having fair skin, to the point that some Chinese people, Japanese, Koreans, they straight up refuse to even get tanned. They do not want tan. They work around with umbrellas, and some they do it because they do not want to get sunburned. Some of them instead they simply do not want to get tanned because they like to be as pale as possible. Again, it's kind of a situation there. I hope it is not as big, despite it being noticed. But anyway, let's say that multiple developers of the studio came out and they made disparaging comments about black people, like they were using a lot of negative stereotypes, and maybe one of them even said a slur, and nothing happens to these developers. Like those comments are out in the open, someone points out at those comments and they do not get immediately fired. It is clear at that point that, first, because multiple developers are doing this comment, these kinds of comments, there is probably the culture within the company is one where those kinds of comments are allowed. And second, if there is noise created about these comments and nothing happens to the developers, it is clear also that the company supports their views or does not see their views worthy enough to, despite the disparaging comments, despite one of them saying slurs, they do not see them those comments, those slurs, worth enough to take disciplinary action or to make a statement about it towards the staff members or the developers, or to make a public statement about it. Sorry. But yeah, again, seeing multiple people involved with Sucker Punch making statements that cheer, and in so doing indirectly support political violence, of course, when it is committed against the people they hate, but not against the people they like, well, it really speaks volumes that in Sucker Punch, or maybe in Bungie if more developers come out. But again, Bungie is already cooked regardless. But yeah, in Sucker Punch, they basically have the situation where there may be a culture where the people there feel comfortable making these kinds of comments, basically. And yeah, this will of course affect the sales. I do not expect, though, that the sales will be affected too much, because remember what I said. I said that already a lot of normies do not use Twitter or barely use it. So again, there is probably a good chance that unless this makes it somehow to the news, a lot of the people would have no idea. And for example, I had no idea that these Sucker Punch, that these people associated with Sucker Punch had made these kinds of comments. Now, after seeing these comments and after seeing their standing for something as disgusting as political violence, pronouns, flags in the name or in the bio, that is the kind of stuff that you will either see of people that are using an account to meet people for dating or other purposes of the similar groups, or people that are being activists. And I think this is more of the second, that this person wants to use this account for activism. And I then noticed that after the queer AF, opinions are my own. And here is the thing, that opinions are my own, it is worthless. Legally it is worthless, because you have the name of your company and of previous companies in your bio. The opinions are your own, and that is a given, that the opinions are your own. Because again, this is not a company account. This is not Bungie official or Magic the Gathering Arena official. This is this cheap they them account. And I want to be clear. It is already very transparent that the opinions are their own, since this is a private account. The problem is that you have the companies in your bio, and by so doing you are actively associating your account with the brands, with the IPs within those companies, beyond of course those companies themselves. So again, it does not matter that opinions are your own when you are going out of your way to associate your account with that company, because what becomes is that, okay, the opinions are your own. The opinions are your opinion, you that are an employee of those companies. Again, I want to make that very clear.
Very good indicator of mental awareness and normality. A producer at Magic the Gathering. So this person works at, I'm assuming, Wizards of the Coast. And they're working at...
Which, by the way, Wizard of the Coast is doing such an abysmal job with a franchise as powerful and as interesting as Dungeons and Dragons. Again, if they had someone there that was more about let's give fans what fans actually want. I do not want to get too distracted on it. Again, the entire aesthetic is being shifted by less of this dark and intriguing world and more of this wanderlust. This like everything is less Conan the Barbarian and more Alice in Wonderland, and I hate it personally. I think it takes away all the grit, and with it also a lot of the interesting aspects of it. I think it's better when there is unfairness, there is people starving, racism, classism, empires going to war against each other for their religions, for their faith, or because maybe one of the princes boned the princess of the other country and then refused to marry her when the king said, okay, you had to take responsibility for your actions. Like that kind of stuff. Like I think it's way more interesting than all of these very safe, sanitized kind of aesthetic that a lot of companies seem to be pushing for. Like for example, also World of Warcraft.
Magic the Gathering arena. Previously, also at wow, what are the coincidences? Wow, what are the odds of that? What a coincidence! And so what you've got here. This is, again, another person who is celebrating this type of violent behavior. And I think that, again, people need to make their voices known and make them heard that this is just simply not acceptable. This is not normal. This is not what average people want. We don't want to have people that are openly making statements and calls to violence like this, or celebrating calls to violence or actual violence like this, making our products. It's disgusting. And I know that some people would...
I mean, I have less of an issue with these people making products because, again, at the end of the day, I'm a consumer. I'm a customer. As long as the product is good, I do not really have an issue with it. The problem is when I go beyond that and when we're talking about people that are promoting political violence. That is the thing that I'm uncomfortable with. I'm uncomfortable with these people being allowed to say, to promote political violence with impunity, and I think that there should be consequences for that. And I already made very clear my reasoning for it. So again, I will avoid repeating why I have this view. You have 2 hours and 25 minutes of me repeating it multiple times why it is a bad thing to advocate and cheer for and support political violence. And again, you do not need to do all 3 things at once. You need to do any of those things to create the climate that supports those kinds of actions. And you have seen it also, for example, with the person that was saying, I hope the guy's name is Mario, so that Luigi knows his brother got his back. Like again, it creates the image. They got a taste for it when Luigi Mangione shot that insurance company CEO, which again, still bad, but in my book, a bit more justifiable given what had happened before. Basically, Luigi required an operation to heal his back. He went to the insurance company to have them cover the operation, and the insurance company, I do not know if they used a loophole or a rule, but they basically told him that despite all the money he spent on the health insurance, the insurance company would not cover the costs. And without those, he would not be able to do the operation, and that is why he basically found himself in a situation where, mad with rage, he decided to plan and carry out the assassination of the CEO of the insurance company. Again, it's still bad. It's still bad, and of course, it is good that Luigi Mangione should pay. Even though I do feel a little bit, the tiniest bit of like, probably I would have done the same or see it a bit more justifiable. But it again is still a murder at the end of the day, and yeah, if you commit a murder in a civilized society, then you are bound by those laws and you will pay accordingly. Again, if this was maybe the Far West or some place where there was less laws, maybe he could have gotten away with it. But not in America, not in the America of 2025, certainly. And again, this all to say that even though that is justifiable maybe a little bit, but or can be seen as justifiable. Rather, I think that is a better way to express that. Nobody can still condone it, because you do not get to when an insurance company that you paid under the impression they will cover the costs for this and that tells you they cannot do that, and they point you at some obscure statement in their contract of maybe 180 pages that they had you sign at the beginning. The civilized society recourse is not to take a gun and shoot the person. The proper recourse would have been to get a lawyer and sue them. But Luigi decided to not do that. Luigi decided to take a gun and shoot the guy, and that cannot be condoned. So again, I want to make it very clear where I stand on this. But again, because it could be seen as more justifiable, because it was basically the insurance companies, they are all always screwing around with us. They're always trying to nickel and dime us, and then when it's the moment they actually have to spend some money to help us, they don't even do that. Like, because it could be seen as that, it created into people the impression that you can take a gun and remove the person that you hate. And I think that is very dangerous at the end of the day. That is very dangerous, and that is why I think that there should be repercussions. And I guess at the end of the day, I repeated myself another time. But, well, that's simply how I am. But anyway, let's proceed and see what else is going on here.
Maybe consider and say, well, this is something that could be a little bit like cancel culture. And I want to say that it absolutely is. 100% is. The fact is that these are the same types of people who would lie about you and make up things about you and try to destroy your career and destroy your reputation for disagreeing with them on something political. But now whenever it's happening to them, they're the victims.
Completely fucking correct. Again, a lot of these people cheering, while it is not assured they are the people that would go around and do this stuff, but a lot of them, or rather a lot of the people that think like they do, are also the people that were going around trying to find personal details of people working at a restaurant or at a bank, and then contacting their employers to get them fired over maybe a view, a political opinion, or a bad joke, or sometimes a slur. And again, maybe you can argue the slur is a good reason to get them fired. But if saying a slur is enough to get someone fired, and it's good enough to get someone fired, then I would argue that cheering for someone being shot in the neck for their political opinions is an even better reason to get you fired. Again, you cannot have you going off at people for minor things and for statements they did years ago, like sometimes even more than 5 years ago, and then people go off at you for even worse statements that you are doing right now, and you all of a sudden want to play, but you were against this. You said you didn't like when I did this. No, you now get subjected to the same thing you subjected everybody else. You wanted this, and if you didn't want this, you would have been vocal against the people doing it back then. You should all have not done it when you could, because now the other side gets the possibility to do that to you now that you can't.
Well, if you want to be the victim, it's time to earn it. I think also, here's another thing, is that if you work at one of these companies and you have one of these individuals that works at your company, you do have a recourse to this, and that's calling and talking to HR. Because the fact is that HR does not operate in your best interest, and it doesn't operate in their best interest either.
I mean, look at those terminologies, by the way. AUDHD, queer, indie gamer, number one, Maroon by Taylor Swift stan, socialist, free Palestine, PS. Failed daughter, programming him a Joshi magical cat girl, sorry. She, her, monogamous, demisexual, lesbian. Program silly numbers to make controllers and a funny person, unapologetically bi, blah 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 blah. Like, you see, they kinda echo what everyone is thinking. Like, who is the kind of person that makes those kinds of comments or that likes those kinds of comments? Then they go and they see your bios, your usernames, and you fit the mold to a T. You are precisely what everyone expects you to be. And I will say, if someone is imagining how you look like, you probably also look exactly like they think you do. So again, it's just like this, and again, this is all, by the way, this is also wrong. This is all prejudice and stereotypes, but it works. The thing is, prejudice, stereotypes, like stereotypes, they form because something is rings true enough that you can start using it as the baseline, and you will probably be right consistently while using it. And then eventually they become prejudice when you start making assumption about people. The thing is, though, you use the stereotype. You go in here and you see everyone doing the things I said before. Pronouns, sexuality, gender, sometimes flags. Like, you see all of that stuff, and you basically start getting jaded and be like, okay, look, I gave the benefit of the doubt, but I see all of you are one way, so I will start assuming you all are one way. And eventually you're gonna be wrong, by the way. And that is why you should never be prejudiced. You can use stereotypes, but you should never be you should not have prejudice, because eventually you will be wrong, and it can be bad depending on what you're wrong about. But if you're just basically assuming how someone is, probably you will, even if you're wrong, probably you will not be wrong by much in these cases rather.
It operates in the best interest of the company. And when you have people that are making public statements and calls to violence and celebrating violence like that, they're creating a hostile and an unsafe work environment. And anybody who works in HR, or anybody who...
By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt, Asmongold, which, by the way, yeah, I was echoing this point here before. But yeah, I simply wanted to say, and again, you will be likely very few times when you use prejudice to try and assume who these people are or how they look, because we're talking about a very specific kind of opinion that would be agreed upon by only very specific people. Like, it is niche within the niche of a minority. And so, of course, you start to see everyone resembling one thing. It's kind of how the nose ring theory came about. It's like, you will see, or like how people were arguing when they see a woman and she has colored hair, when they see someone with the problem glasses. This was in 2015, where they were talking about feminists or feminazis, which, again, think about it, feminazis. They were using Nazis to describe those third-wave feminists that were like extreme in their views. Nowadays, we just call them retards, and that's it. And I think in the grand scheme of things, it is better, because at the end of the day, we are just ridiculing them, but we are not dehumanizing them, which I think it's way worse, and it's more dangerous. It's more dangerous when it comes to the possible repercussions of dehumanizing someone. Because remember this, a lot of the times it is harder to shoot at someone if they are not the political equivalent of the Antichrist. If you think you are killing, you went back in time and you can kill Hitler and you will kill Hitler, then if I convince you that someone is the reincarnation of Hitler in this day and age, you will feel less conflicted about shooting them dead. It's that simple.
Works inside of any sort of corporate environment will tell you that that's something that just can't exist in a corporate environment. There's a reason why we have levels of decorum, and there are some levels of HR that make sense. And so if you work at one of these companies and you have a person like this doing it, make sure to talk to HR and let them know how uncomfortable you feel that there's a person who's working at your company who might want to advocate to have you killed because you disagree with them. Tell them that it makes you afraid to come into work. Tell them that, you don't know, maybe you're going to file a lawsuit, you feel unsafe at your workplace. And honestly, here's the important thing, you should feel unsafe, because these people would justify violence against anybody who disagrees with them. And just because you think you know them doesn't mean they wouldn't do the exact same thing to you. And
Exactly. And another thing is that you can see it often online, like someone that is part, for example, I saw it when I was looking, for example, at some comments about Hogwarts Legacy. Again, from time to time you could see people like Sophia Narwitz, for example, and she's trans, by the way, and she made some comments like that I think are very fair in the grand scheme of things on the situation. Then you eventually get trans people trash talking her or telling her horrible things, and all of a sudden you notice that all it takes is for you to have the quote-unquote wrong opinion for you to be immediately cast out of their idea of a community, and you will be unforgivable after that. You will be unforgivable, and basically you will not be able to re-enter it. It does not matter if you get on your knees and apologize. You would need to basically write an essay about how wrong you were and how right they are. Like you literally need to humiliate yourself until you become a puddle of mud on the road, while at the same time stroking their egos so that their narcissistic selves feel like, okay, this person is seriously penitent about their position. I think I may allow this one exception. Like, again, you really need to bring them to that, to think that. And that is why, for example, even on Twitter, you see it often, like someone gets hate messages or harassment in the comment, or comments that are very disparaging, even if it isn't a straight up harassment, but comments that are very disparaging. And then like, let's say, for example, an artist, they make a quote-unquote black character a little bit too light-skinned, and they get the usual clique of people coming in and telling them, oh, you're racist for this, I fixed your art for you, like those are an evergreen, like those kind of people. And then the artist tries to apologize, and it's never like, oh, sorry, so sorry, we thought you were doing it maliciously. No, don't worry, actually your art is good. No, it's like, it's always something to the degree like next time do better, and that's it. Like, you are, like, it's not that they gave you a second chance, it's that they are allowing you to keep existing. It's more like that. And that is why you should never apologize, because at the end of the day, they will never accept your apologies. If you tell them, fuck right off, I'm never gonna change. As a matter of fact, if you keep pushing me, I will actually start drawing things you hate. Like, I will actively put more into the words that you don't like if you keep pushing me. Then that will get them to stop. Again, it's like they threaten you with that, you counter-threat them to defend yourself and defend your artistic integrity in the case you are an artist.
And this is them, this is the game that they're making right here. And you can see that they've made no statement about this. Now, let me ask you a very simple question. If these people made a degrading comment towards the trans community, for example, or towards the black community, for example, do you think Sucker Punch would have immediately fired them and made a statement? I think so.
I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
I guarantee it.
For some reason, these people are protected. And the reason why they're protected is
Well,
because there's a lot
not
of other
legally,
folks at the
but
company that feel the exact same
my idea
way
is
they
that
do.
I could
That's the
guarantee
only
that.
logical reason that I have. And I think that at a certain point, Sony or somebody needs to step in. Whoever owns this company needs to step in and root out this disease before it kills the entire company. Because I
mean, will not go as far as calling them a disease, but I definitely will say that those people, they can absolutely work at a company. By the way, they simply need to be kept in check. They should be kept in check by having consistent meetings with HR to monitor what they say and what they do. Because I want to be real, a lot of these people that I've been speaking about, even those these hyper niche people, they tend to be very good at art, at music. Like, they do not get to those positions out of politics alone. Of course, there must be talent behind it to at least a certain degree. So what I think is that those people have a very they have definitely a talent for art, for music, for sound production, sound design. I want those people to work on my games. I want my games to be better because of the input of those people. I want cheap they them. I want them to produce my game as long as they do not pervert them. And by pervert them, I do not mean that they cannot give inputs and make a story, and I do not mean also that the story should not have characters belonging to the LGBT community or minorities. I do not mean that. I mean instead that they should not co-opt franchises to inject their agenda, or to have or to put those characters in things they don't belong. For example, let's say we are talking about a country that historically didn't have Africans. Let's say, for example, we are making a game about North America with the natives. I was about to use the other term that you should not use to define Native Americans, but yeah, let's say to the natives before the Europeans came, which again I think will be an interesting game, just about the native communities, without rifles, without the threat, the quote-unquote threat of the white man. Like, again, I think that would be very interesting. But again, you should not put, you probably should not put a black person in that game, and the game is not racist against black people because it doesn't have a black person, and as the same way it is not racist against white people or Asian people. Like, I want to make it clear. And let's say, for example, we're talking about a medieval society where gay people were repressed, and their sexual acts involving the same sex were seen as sin or the acts of the devil, and people that do that would basically be tortured, castrated, whatever. Well, I think it's very likely if we're talking about such a society to basically put gay characters everywhere, or to put gay characters in positions of power where they are publicly and and overtly gay, like feminine, flamboyant gay, RuPaul, drag queen, drag race kind of gay, like that kind of stuff. And again, not necessarily drag queens, because I want to be because a man can do the drag queen stuff and still be straight. Like I want that to be absolutely clear. But again, the general idea is that someone that will do that is a kind of homosexual and or very effeminate. And if you put a person like that into a game that is trying to portray a historical empire like that, everyone will be put off by it. Even gay people will be put off by it. Even RuPaul would be put off by it, probably. And like this, like not putting messaging. And again, I want to recall the worst offender, which is Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Like, I think what they did with that game, like, it's so baffling to me. And you can see them, like, you can see the political statements everywhere, like be it the pulling a barb, be it the body type 1 and 2, be it the fact that there is surgical scars for mastoplasty as an option. Again, it's that is perverting a game for to push an agenda, and that is why the game, by the way, it didn't do so good. It didn't do as good. It in fact did pretty badly compared to the projected sales, even though it sold mostly because of the IP. But I'm sure that a lot of people do not like Tash. I can't remember the name. But yeah, they do not like that character, and I'm sure that a lot of the gay people that play the game also were put off by it. I would know. I am bisexual. I was put off by that too. Like, you have no idea. I was very like, when I saw it, I was thinking it was a joke. I was thinking someone was basically joking, but to me it seems almost malicious, like a concerted effort to make everyone hate LGBT people. And well, no, it is made by out of touch people that say we are all this monolithic community, when in reality we could not be more different than one another. Like, again, it's so weird for me. They made the one bisexual character, the assassin guy with the beard. At the very least, that one looked cool too.
Do you think that it will have a tremendously negative effect on the game? And you can see this right here. This is a post that Sony made.
And his surname is Italian, by the way. I think Della Morte.
A couple of days ago about Ghosts of Yotai. And you can see 1,000 comments on this. Your senior dev at Sucker Punch is a violent leftist, etc. And these are more comments here. Never let up the pressure. Never, ever, ever do that. Keep this pressure up until these people lose their jobs. And then after they lose their jobs, then take a break, relax, pat yourself on the back, wait for them to get another one, and then do it again.
Like, again, as I stated, I would rather these people keep their jobs and keep using their talents for good. The reality of it all is that if they come out and make these kinds of comments, they 100% cannot help themselves from pouring their agendas, their views, but like in an overtly unsubtle and cooptative manner into the games they work on. I think it's very hard for them to not do that, and as a matter of fact, I think they don't even try to stop themselves from doing that. I think they go full on in, and that is why you see all of a sudden a lot of games having basically that part, like parts that you see them and you think to yourself, why is this in the game? Because the team, they wanted to do it for clout. The reality is that they wanted to do it for clout. They wanted, because they think they want to be on the right side of history. They want to think of themselves as the good people, while they go on social media and they say horrible things about everyone and everything. And I will, for example, the parts where you help the deaf girl in Spider-Man 2. Like, why? But this is something Spider-Man would do. Yeah, but it's something that I do not want to do. Did you not think about that? Did you think I would like to play the game without the sound for 20 minutes? Going around as this girl making vandalizing property with graffiti. Which, by the way, I like graffiti, but yeah, you should probably not do that on random walls. Like, probably not, and that is why a lot of people hated that. And the fact that you made the girl black, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. Like, a lot of black people also hated that. I remember streamers that I see and I follow that are black people. They played the game and they were like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, this part is trash. And they just wanted to go back to playing as Peter Parker or Miles Morales.
And that's the only way that you should treat these animals. And that's exactly what they are. You shouldn't view them as people. You shouldn't view them as a person with a political disagreement from you. These are violent animals that are trying to destroy the last good thing that we have,
man, chill.
the open ideas of political discourse. And they're celebrating murdering people for doing it. And as soon as that starts happening, I don't want to know what's next. And the worst...
I mean, I say chill to Asmon, but he is kind of right. Again, as I stated, you supporting this, or you just cheering for this, creates the situation where this becomes in the eyes of others kinda justifiable, and in the worst case scenario, the idea that it should be normalized to a degree. And again, the moment it becomes even justifiable is the moment where you will get many of the talkers, or the political talkers, being shot for their views. And you do not want this. You do not want to get there.
First thing is that I already do, and I think you do too. And so anyway, we've got more of these here.
I really think they don't. I think it's really one of those cases where they think they do, they don't. They did not stop to see the bigger picture. They do not try and see how this is gonna go back to them. Because again, when you're advocating or supporting or cheering for a case of political violence, you are inadvertently doing that for both sides. You are not doing it only for yours. At the end of the day, as these people that are finding out that even others outside of their small bubble of people can use cancel culture when they go out of their way to tell the world how much of pieces of shit they are, these people still did not realize that this political violence they're cheering for can be tomorrow one of the personalities they like being gunned down by a far-right extremist with the right cheering for it. Like, it is not the kind of environment anybody wants.
His resignation is not enough for me. I hope he takes the studio. And cowards keep quiet. The studio deserves to go under. I understand why a lot of people at these companies don't speak up, which is why I suggest that if you work at one of these companies, please make sure to go to HR. Go to HR and file these complaints legitimately with them. There are certain legal things that they have to do, and in some cases, these people will pretty much lose their job for sure if enough people are discussing it.
I mean, I think that given the nature of these comments, if one goes to HR and it shows them these posts on social media, especially before these people have the chance to delete them, and if they document everything, then like they screenshot the post, they document them going to HR, they maybe tell the HR guy, hey, you can find it if you just go on social, and they find the post. Like, if they document all of that, there is nothing the person can do but lose their job. Again, this is people cheering for the murder of, at the end of the day, an innocent person. Like, if he was not innocent, like if he was a criminal of some kind, the recourse should have been to put him in jail, to have him arrested. But clearly, this is not what happened. And you cannot cheer for this. You cannot stand for this.
And you have also some people make comments like this. It's wild how the woke right, like Asmongold, grums and others, showing themselves to be what they hate, authoritarian freaks that want to censor and silence anybody they despise.
Okay, so what does that make the far leftists of those niche communities when they were going around and canceling people? Like, aren't they authoritarian freaks that want to censor and silence anybody they despise too? Or is it that only when Asmongold grams or quote-unquote woke right people do that? And I love the comment by the guy with the furry profile pic under it, like, are you high?
Should be censored, absolutely. People make comments like this. It's wild how the woke right, like Asmongold, grums and others, showing themselves to be what they hate, authoritarian freaks that want to...
Sorry if there was no voice for a while.
Yeah, I do. I do. I think that anybody who's advocating for killing people over speech like this should be censored, absolutely. And this is just normal, absolutely. I don't... There's this trick that a lot of people like this like to play, which is they try to use your own language and use your own morality against you. These people don't care about freedom of speech. They don't care about censorship. They don't care about any of that. They're simply trying to weaponize your values and use them against you in order for them to fulfill their own goals. And
exactly what I was talking about before when I was saying, like, abusing people's kindness to get their way. It's like they portray themselves as the peaceful ones and as the ones that they stand for inclusivity. So when we're talking about inclusivity, we cannot gatekeep hobbies because gatekeeping means we are excluding people, and if we exclude people, we are seen to be against the groups of people we are excluding. While in reality, we simply be gatekeepers. For example, simply want to protect the hobby and to have it keep the same degree of quality without it devaluing itself and diluting itself to appease the lowest common denominator. That is simply what gatekeepers want. They do not want to exclude any specific group of people, because if, let's say, you are trans and you want to play a game like Hearts of Iron, for example, I don't know, you go and you approach the game as someone that wants to play it. You learn the lore, you are curious about it, you are simply playing the game and having fun. Nobody's gonna is gonna try and say you should get the fuck out of here just for being trans. Maybe a few people will do that, but those people will be seen by everyone else as the ones in the wrong, that are pieces of shit and transphobic for it. In reality, what tends to happen instead is that, for example, a lot of people enter into a hobby, and some of the people that belong to certain groups say, I don't like this depiction of racism here. I think it echoes a lot the real world, and it makes me uncomfortable. And the company, trying to make more money, will go and basically amend that to the point that they may even go and retcon something if maybe that aspect was integral to some grand narrative that was ongoing. Like, they will go and they will retcon stuff, they will go and use language like okay, this is not part of the game anymore, and all of that is that, and it was an illusion, that never was racism, or this particular person was always there. And we have seen that with some games, with some groups, like in Warhammer 40k there was the debate about the female Astartes, and now I think it was Games Workshop, they made female custodians. And rather than creating at least a good explanation to have them integrated in the lore, the explanation was they were always there. And and for people that are so crazy to ask the lore as Warhammer 40k fans, and by the way, I'm not much of a Warhammer 40k fans. I simply like the aesthetics, and I like the grit, the grimdark nature of it, and also a little bit of the tiny speck of lore that I learned through YouTube videos, and also Darktide, because Darktide is cool. But yeah, this is all the gatekeepers want. They want to avoid these people coming in entitled, demanding stuff be changed around for them, and the company being in it only for the money, not for the artistic integrity of the universe they themselves created, or rather some people that were in the company at one point created. They go in and they change everything because these people are demanding change, and what comes out is a lamification of the franchise, which in the end turns off the fans, and the fans call the hobby they once loved lame. The people that came in and demanded those changes also go to another hobby, because they see that the hobby they thought was cool now is lame, and the company fails and the hobby is lost, because nobody plays it anymore. Nobody wants to have anything to deal with it, because they hate the company and they also think the hobby is lame. Like that kind of thing happens, and that is what people want to prevent.
So every time that they try to make an appeal to your own values, you should ask yourself, do they hold these values? And if the answer is no, then you shouldn't take it seriously.
Exactly. And again, this is all it boils down to. Like, if someone is okay with something, if someone is okay with something, rather to be more specific, if someone is okay with when something happens to you, then you should ask them, are you okay also if someone comes in and does that to you? And if all of a sudden there is a problem, there is an exception, there is anything, they are disingenuous, they are hypocrites, and you should not give them the time of the day, and especially you should not listen to to anything else they have to say, because those people, they simply want you to bend the knee to them, since it will benefit them. But if they have to sacrifice a finger, a nail, or a strand of hair for you to bend, or just bend a knee to you, when you could get a huge benefit from it, they will not budge an inch. They will let you rotting, starving, whatever bad situation you're in.
Because this person is simply trying to use your values to subvert you and take advantage of you and to push their own agenda and to hurt you. And so never listen to this, never play into this game, never even acknowledge that there's any validity to it at all. These people don't care about freedom of speech. The only time they bring it up is whenever they're trying to co-opt the person who does care about freedom of speech and make that person act against their own best interest. But anyway, we've got also, this is me, Asmongold put out the call for finding game devs mocking, and there's another one here. This is the voice actor for Diluc in Genshin Impact. I hope they receive the same care that the average American citizen would get in the same situation. Really? So they're just gonna fall down and die? If somebody gets shot in the neck like that with their blood like spurting out, there's no health care. You're not coming back from that. At least not anytime soon with the medical care that we have now. And so anyway, Lisi came out. Lisi goes out doing what he loved, being a bigot. Yeah, of course you have more comments like this, more people like this. And shoot police go after it's permanent. Every post you make goes out to the public firehouse, captured by someone somewhere. The delete button doesn't do what you think it does. And so anyway, we have a lot of people obviously that are starting to say stuff, live by something. So she's obviously trying to make a statement of live by the sword, die by the sword. This is what, and I think that this is a very revealing statement. I think this is going to be the last comment that I'm going to look at here, is that this statement's actually extremely revealing, because what it's saying is that from her perspective, living by the sword is the same as being killed. Speaking out and being able to, express your opinion on certain things should be met with the equivalence of deadly force.
Exactly. It's like, what the hell are you arguing for? Like, if someone speaking their minds and opinions, doesn't matter how controversial or vitriolic, but let's say those opinions are within the law to express in the way the person does. If that is living by the sword, then dying by the sword should be that person being debated against by opinions that are stronger, more popular, more factual, and that person losing their audience and fading into obscurity. That is living by the sword and dying by the sword, or rather, to be more specific for Kirk's situation, living by the word and dying by the word. Well, instead, what we see here is living by the word and dying by the gun. And that is something that you do not want to get. You do not want that.
And that's really what these people want. They want to bully, push, fight, and if it comes down to it, kill you if you disagree with them. And that's why whenever somebody does do something insane like this, all of these people tried to do mental gymnastics about why it was somehow justified, normalized, okay, acceptable, or something one way or another. The fact is that, live by the debate, die by a gunshot wound in the throat. No, I don't really think that makes a lot of sense, does it? But it doesn't sound as good as these, vapid, Yas Queen comments that people like her make on Blue Sky that have absolutely no pushback because they're on their own protected reservation away from anybody whose opinions could be different than their own. And that's the reason, and also those are the only people that are still left on the platform. And soon, if with enough effort and enough work, we can have enough of these people removed from our media, and removed from our public discourse, and removed from any sort of positions of power where they can...
rather than having them removed from everything, which again, I do not like, because this basically just means that you are purging them from political positions, from media positions, from discourse and stuff. Rather than that, what should happen is that these people, the crazies, they should have the possibility to speak their mind, but in a place where everyone that agrees with them can agree with them, but everyone that disagrees with them or thinks they're clown, they can ridicule them to hell and back. Like, that is what should happen. And as for positions of power, well, this is more on, I think, on the Democratic Party in America. I think that the Democratic Party, they should stop listening to the loudest voices, because the loudest voices, they do not represent the Democratic. I don't think they represent, rather, because again, I'm not American, but I don't think they represent the Democrats, the true Democrats in America. I don't think they represent moderate left, centrist leftists, moderate leftists, or leftists. I think they tend to represent more the far leftists that are absolutely nutcases, that go around and say this kind of stuff, that use these narratives that sound alarmist, where when Trump farts out of his bed the wrong way, a bit too strong, or that think everyone in the world is out to get them. I think those are the ones that cry oppression all the time, and just because someone cries oppression, it does not mean that they are a victim of it. It does not mean that they are as much of a victim of it as they say they are. Again, they should stop letting the craziest members take the reins of the Democratic Party, in my opinion, and they should start listening to what the majority of the Democrats actually want. And if they cannot find common ground, at the very least, put in position of powers people that are actually relatable to the common person, not to the establishment, but to the common person. You do not need to make everyone an icon. You need instead the most baseline person ever that has common sense and that is capable of making the right choices for the Democratic Party, of course, not for the right wingers. And again, sorry for my dog. But yeah, let's watch it. Let's finish watching this video.
An exercise, they're completely maladjusted, totally deranged viewpoints and worldview. And so anyway, I want to let you know that this is definitely not the only amount of them that there are. I'm sure there's plenty more. And so if you want to express and show any of these other people, and you want to post one of their comments or anything like that, I would recommend anybody to go on over to Roach Ranch. This is a comment right here. Sorry, not comment, community right here that I made on Twitter. I do not really moderate this at all, and if you guys want to post the different public comments that are being made by these different developers or these different people that are working in media celebrating this, and collectively we can contact their employers, contact the people that are around them, and have them get fired from their job. And do not for even a second think that this is not fair. It is absolutely fair. These people have been doing it to people like me for the better part of 5 years, and it's time the shoe goes on the other foot. They're disgusting, they're celebrating violence, and there shouldn't be any space for this in any sort of a polite society. But yeah, anyway, crazy things going on over at Sucker Punch Productions. Really, really crazy stuff. With that many weirdos and freaks working at the company, I wonder what this game's gonna be like. I kinda don't wanna know, but Actually, I kind of do. I think it'll be great content, but for all the wrong reasons. So anyway, guys, that's about all I've got for today. I did promise I would go through all of this, and we've gone through all of this. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate you watching, and feel free to join the Twitter community or to join Reddit or anywhere else. But Twitter community is the best and most uncensored place. Reddit is very censored for a number of reasons that we have to, right? We just have to follow the Reddit rules. Twitter doesn't have those same rules. So if you guys want to talk about this issue more and bring up more people, feel free to go over to the Twitter community and we can mobilize from there. And hopefully we can put, everybody together and actually achieve something for a good cause. And don't ever think that this kind of stuff doesn't matter. This kind of stuff has led to a lot of people getting fired, which is the exact reason why I'm doing it. Hopefully it'll happen again. So anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you all as soon as I can. Peace.
I mean, I can respect how unapologetic he is about this entire thing. But yeah, at the end of the day, I also agree with him on another thing. The fact that this is happening to these people is fair. It's fair and it should happen because them finding out that there are consequences for this and that the majority of people disagrees with them and sees them as horrible fucking individuals, that should be that should be something they should learn and take to heart. I think it is something that they absolutely should not forget, because they are under the impression that the world agrees with them, and they keep closing themselves into these smaller and smaller echo chambers where the least amount possible of people disagrees with them, and there is the largest amount possible of people that see the world as they do. The reality of it is that every time you go into a smaller community, you are just running away from the world. You're just running away from the world, and the moment you get back into it or you put your ideas out in the open is the moment the world comes right back at you all at once, and you find out the way they're finding out. But yeah, I still, while it is fair and while I think it should happen, I still do not like that it is happening. I do not want things to come to this, and I would rather these people not lose their jobs and also stop being so crazy about politics, and also especially call out how much of a piece of shit the person that killed Charlie Kirk is. Not because, and again, it doesn't mean that they should call them a piece of shit because they disagree with the views of the shooter. Like, they can agree also with the views of the shooter, and they can absolutely hate Charlie Kirk, but they should call him a piece of shit for not giving their side the possibility to debate him into nothingness. Again, that is what they were robbed of. They were robbed of the ability to debate him into nothingness, to expose the worst points that he was making, and call him out on his bullshit, and basically eventually cause him to lose support and fade into obscurity. And by doing that, by shooting him, the shooter actually did the opposite. Now you're seeing him. Not only is the right side of America rallying behind the Charlie Kirk assassination and using him as a symbol of how the far left extremists are crazy and are violent and are murderers in their rhetorics, and now also in their actions over political affiliations, but they will also make him a symbol for freedom of speech. Like, believe it or not, this is what you guys are doing, and this is what you guys are cheering about. You are cheering about it is not Jesus. Like, it is not that he was a saint or that he was Jesus, but it will feel like it. It will feel like you just crucified someone you shouldn't have, and it will feel like it because it is that. You should not have killed him over his political views, despite how offensive you thought they were, despite how abhorrent you thought they were, despite how justified you thought it was to shoot him. You cannot do that, and you cannot condone it in any way, shape, or form. But anyway, guys, I talked right now for about 3 hours and almost 24 minutes. Let me share in the chat the link about Asmongold's video. Okay, perfect. Like I shared it in the chat. Again, anybody interested can click on the link and they will be able to see his video in its entirety without my constant interrupting and my long drawn out tangents, which if I put you off for my tangents, I apologize. And there is chaos again in the area. Just a moment, guys. But yeah, I think, given also the situation here, I think I will probably end here the stream. Again, I thank all of you guys that catch me live, and if you catch this later on as the VOD highlight, or I'm probably planning to download this and upload it on my YouTube, I thank you guys regardless of interacting with it. And if you catch this on YouTube, and if you made it up until this way, I would be very curious to hear your comments, see if maybe I am being too lenient or I'm taking things too far in certain regards, and of course, if you think my reasoning is agreeable, or if you think I'm full of shit, basically. But anyway, guys, thank you all, and I will probably catch you next time. Let's just put some music from Oblivion. Again, sorry for leaving you with the silence, but I guess my voice will be good enough. But anyway, guys, I thank you all for watching. I thank you all for following the stream. I thank you again, and I wish to you all a good day. Arrivederci.